Alright fuckers, welcome back to Son of Scotland 90, welcome back to the Total Extreme Wrestling 2016, this series called Brand Wars. Now, I'm a couple of days late uploading this. I've had a few busy hectic days, to be honest with you, plus I went to record this earlier and I noticed I did not even save main event or, no not main event, Superstars or Raw from episode 2, so sadly had to go and rebook all that, and sadly some of the matches didn't do quite as well, but some did a bit better and it more or less worked out the same. Both shows overall got the same ratings, but there was some major differences actually. The main event on Raw, for example, on the second run through only got a 69C, whereas it got an 80 on the original playthrough. So, you know, shit happens. I don't know, I must have forgot to save it. It is what it is. But now it's time for episode 3. We're going to be running through main event and Smackdown. The draft, the aftermath, the rest of the draft will be happening after the Smackdown show. This will be the last show where we have both brands on it. After tonight, it is completely split, complete separation, just Raw versus Smackdown. This is probably going to be the last time I actually show you main event or Superstars. I was thinking from now on just to already book it and run it off camera, and then perhaps when things start rolling, when we start recording, we could just show you the actual show, a quick recap, like 30 seconds, no more, just to show you what's happening, rather than do away with both shows, because it's taking up time, it's a pain in the ass. I don't really want to go through them. I want to focus on Raw and Smackdown, but at the same time, it gives the openers, the lower mid-carders a chance, because obviously if you're not using them, they're going to be upset. And, you know, with the brand split, it may have less chance if we take away these shows, so I think that was pretty important. Before we run into main event here though, just need to check out, you see a new thing here, Mick Foley is an unhappy locker room leader, and I'm not quite sure why, but apparently he doesn't like the push that we've given him, so you know what, he's not having a nice day here, Mick, are you? But hopefully things can change and you can see some injuries. Lesnar not contracted to B shows, neither Sting or Taker. Anyway, let's run the show, see what happens. Hopefully it can deliver. So we start off with a video hyping up Apollo Crews. This got a 48D plus. And moving on to the actual match with Apollo Crews versus Curtis Angle. And about the subpar wrestling and non-existent crowd heat, Apollo Crews defeated Curtis Axel in 8:55 by pinfall with a spin out powerbomb. The 44D, Heath Slater did some good work at ringside. The match deserved better announcing. And the ring performances were 48 from Crews and 44 from Curtis Axel. Apollo Crews is improving in performance skills. Moving on, segment showing, not a segment, just a hype video really, showing Becky Lynch getting a 63C. And then an actual match with Becky Lynch versus Alicia Fox, and about the decent wrestling but little heat. Becky Lynch defeated Alicia Fox in 6:31 by submission with the disarmor, 60C plus. The match deserved better announcing. Yes, seems to be a problem, that, doesn't it? Becky Lynch had a in-ring performance 72 and Alicia Fox 53. So we won't really know who the Raw and SmackDown and main event superstar commentators and announcers are going to be until after the brand split tonight. So until then, just got to, you know, stick with these shitty announcers. Up next, we've got Bo Dallas. He calls out Cesaro. He says if you believe in yourself, anyone can be a superhero, anyone can be a Superman. And then he wants to prove it, because he said he believes himself. He calls out the Swiss Superman Cesaro. He challenges him to a match. Cesaro responds and accepts a challenge of 50D plus right there. And then the actual match between the two, Cesaro taking on Bo Dallas in a poor match. Cesaro defeated Bo in 8:14 by pinfall with a neutralizer, 47D. Axel did some good work at ringside. The match deserved better announcing. Cesaro with an in-ring performance of 67 and Bo Dallas 35. Terrible rating there for Bo Dallas. Not quite sure why it was that low. Both improving performance skills though. Moving on, we have the Dudley Boys, Team 3D. Bubba Ray and Devon Dudley cutting a promo backstage, putting themselves over and saying that basically fun time is over, enough is enough. They're the greatest tag team in wrestling history, and they basically just saying that the current tag team division is a joke and they are set to cause the Dudley Boys destruction on the WWE, and planning on, you know, taking over Raw, going after the titles. This angle got the crowd hotter. The segment deserved better announcing it again, and let down by the announcing. Got a 64 seed though, very solid rating. Then we move on to tonight's main event, and about the decent wrestling but didn't have much heat. The Dudley Boys defeated Lucha Dragons at 9:40 when Bubba Ray defeated Kalisto by pinfall with a 3D. Bubba and Devon showed excellent chemistry teaming together. The match deserved better announcing. Devon had an in-ring performance of 72, Bubba Ray 78, and Sin Cara and Kalisto had 44 and 45 respectively. Not too good there, but 63 rating's decent. And some people improving in performance and rumble skills, and that's at the dirt sheet. Got some positives. No, not many menaces. Well, there you go. So, poor announcements not helping. So I think Superstars got 44D. I think this show's been slightly better. I'm gonna guess this will get a 47. Let's see if I'm right. 49D. So you know, better than expected. Still not where I want main event or Superstars to be, but we'll see how we go in the future. Like I said, these two shows aren't really important. It is Raw and Smackdown that mean everything. So now I need to go book Smackdown, and we will be back shortly. So this is how it's going to run. We're going to book Smackdown, we're going to run Smackdown, we're going to finish Smackdown. Then we're going to complete the rest of the draft. So everyone who wasn't drafted manually on Raw will be automatically drafted after Smackdown. And it's just going to be at random, guys. So all the teams can be drafted together, but I'm not going... Whoever gets drafted where, that's just what it is, and fuck it, I'll just have to deal with it. No input from myself. I thought it'd be better if I just do the draft automatically and then make the most of what I'm given, try and work around it. So that's what we're going to do, and then after that, what kind of personnel we'll get, we'll mix up the announcing. I don't know, people don't like Brian Saxon. Maybe I should give someone else a chance on Raw. Did put Booker T on Raw? He's already had a chance. I don't know. Some people are saying Corey Graves. I think he's on NXT, and I don't want to promote anyone from NXT just yet. But we've got people that do the pre-shows. We've got Renee Young. Could maybe put her on the announced team, or maybe Lita. I could try something like that, guys. So I don't know, but we need to see what brand gets who, and then we'll work out who's got who in the announced team, and then we'll figure out the Raw, SmackDown, main event, and Superstars announced teams after that. But now I need to go book SmackDown, so I'll be with you guys in just a second. Alright guys, so we're booked SmackDown, let's get stuck into the show. Looking forward to this one. I think it might actually do better than Raw. And anyway, we'll instead of talking about it, let's go find out if it actually does do better than Raw or not. So we open up SmackDown with the title celebration. Dean Ambrose retained the title on Raw against Seth Rollins, and that is what we open SmackDown with. Ambrose, Shane McMahon, Daniel Bryan all in the ring. For Dean Ambrose's WWE World Heavyweight Championship celebration, Ambrose says that now he has got rid of that shit saying Seth out of the way, it's time for a new challenger. Shane McMahon congratulates you. I can't even talk here. What the hell? Big Shane O'Mac congratulates Ambrose on bringing the WWE Championship to SmackDown. Daniel Bryan announces that Ambrose will defend that title in 3 weeks at SmackDown's first ever brand exclusive pay-per-view, which will be Armageddon. The segment got deserved better colour commentary. The Angle got the show off to a strong start. The Angle's got the crowd hotter, which is pretty good. 75B minus. Shane McMahon is developing better performance skills. But before they can carry on, we've got Stephanie McMahon, and she comes out and interrupts and tells Daniel not to get too carried away and that he can't book a title match that doesn't belong to them on one of their shows. Shane asks Stephanie what the hell is she talking about, and Stephanie says, well, the brand split doesn't take effect until after SmackDown tonight, therefore she is still in charge, and that's why tonight Dean Ambrose will defend the WWE World Heavyweight Championship against Raw's Alberto Del Rio, and this got a 72B-. Shane is getting better at his gimmick. This Angle got the crowd hotter. So there you go, Stephanie McMahon coming out to interrupt the title celebrations with huge news that Del Rio will be getting a shot at Dean Ambrose's title tonight. So are the SmackDown going to have the World Heavyweight Championship after all? We do not know. We're going to have to wait until tonight's main event to find out. Daniel Bryan was penalised for poor momentum and announcing quality. Right. We need the announcers. I can't wait. The draft happening after SmackDown tonight. Hopefully we get it fucking sorted with the announcers. But let's carry on with the show. In the first match of the night, basically a rerun of Raw, but only this time the US and the Intercontinental Championship feuds or matches are teaming up. We've got the champs, Rusev and Miz, taking on the challengers, O'Neil and Big Show, and in a decent match, Rusev and Miz defeated Titles O'Neil and the Big Show in 8:05 when Rusev defeated Titles O'Neil by submission with the accolade, and it's got a 74 B-. You can see Rusev, Lana, Miz and Maurice have good chemistry. Titles O'Neil and Big Show showed excellent chemistry teaming together. Don't know, perhaps it could be a new tag team if Titles O'Neil gets drafted to Raw. The match deserved better commentary. Lana is not suited to her gimmick, and the performances was Miz 60, Rusev 73, Big Show 78, and O'Neil 62. Rusev improving in technical and performance skills, 74 B-men. A strong start to the show, guys. Hopefully we can keep it up. And we move backstage, and we've got Charlotte and Dana Brooke in their locker room. And Charlotte is with her student Dana Brooke. Brooke is apologising for costing them the match this week on Raw, but Charlotte tells her she's heard enough excuses and enough apologies from her dad, and that is why she kicked him to the curb. Charlotte tells Dana she has a chance tonight to put things right, and she better do it. This got a 62C, which is pretty good. Charlotte laying down the law. Dana Brooke, don't know what she's got to do tonight, but she's got a chance apparently, and she's going to have to put it right. So you see, all positives here. No one got any minuses. Good shit. 62C. But moving on now, and it's the phenomenal one. AJ Styles comes out to the ring, and he's about to address the crowd. AJ takes the mic and he says, everyone has been asking him, why did you do it, AJ? Why did you attack your fellow teammate Roman Reigns? Well, first of all, Reigns ain't a teammate of mine. He hasn't travelled the world with me. He hasn't bled with me in the ring. He hasn't done anything of that. He's just another big guy who tried to steal the spotlight from the phenomenal one. So AJ Styles obviously not happy with Roman Reigns. He doesn't see him as an ally or a teammate or anything like that. Anyway, AJ continuing, I beat the face who run the place, John Cena. Beating up John Cena has been a hobby for me since I arrived here in the WWE. Yet somehow Reigns, the guy, is being tipped as the new face. He was even drafted before me. How pathetic is that? That's the reason I attacked Roman Reigns. But before AJ continue with his addressing of the fans or whatever, before he can explain himself, which got a 72B rating, by the way, and it deserved better colour commentary. Oh, who would have guessed it? But before he can go on, we have Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns comes out to the, well, I'm imagining he's not. Yeah, he comes out to the ring, fuck it, why not? So Roman Reigns interrupts AJ and he tells him to shut his mouth because he's heard enough talking. Reigns says he ain't a good guy. He ain't a bad guy. He's just a seriously pissed off guy after Monday night's Raw. He wants AJ in the ring tonight. Roman Reigns came across well. The new face of Smackdown storyline has had fans with this segment, and it got a 70C+, so pretty decent there. Segment was penalised due to new face of Smackdown storyline's low heat. Well, give us a chance, guys, to get the heat up on it. Fuck's sake, it's a bit harsh. Anyway, will AJ accept what's going to happen? We don't know, because here comes Big Match John. Anyway, before AJ can give Roman Reigns the answer, he is interrupted by John Cena. Cena congratulates AJ because he has beaten him several times. He may have needed to cheat and have help from the club, but regardless, he's got the job done. Now, Cena asks AJ to do something he has never done. Grow some balls and face him one-on-one tonight and beat him fairly. Reigns steps in front of Cena. Well, obviously, he wants to be the one to challenge AJ, but Big Match John tells him to back off, son. Cena says for months now, everyone has been doubting whether he can still go at the top anymore. Has Cena still got what it takes? Well, Cena says Roman Reigns can kick AJ's ass every week on SmackDown from now on, but tonight it's his last chance, and he intends to take it. AJ agrees. AJ accepts John Cena's challenge before leaving tonight. That's got an 80B. Best rated segment or match of the night. Really good here. Apparently, the announcing job done by Brian Saxon and Jerry Lawler was pretty weak. The segment deserved better colour commentary, and the new face of SmackDown storyline has had fans with this segment. So, we're happy with that, obviously. 80B, and it looks like tonight John Cena and AJ Styles going to take each other on for the final time. Anyway, moving on. We've got Dana Brooke taking on Sasha Banks. This is what Charlotte was talking about earlier when she was on about make things right, and then about the decent wrestling but little heat. Sasha Banks defeated Dana Brooke in 7:29 by submission with a bank statement. That's got a 69C plus. Dana Brooke got an in-ring performance of 45. Sasha Banks did really well. She got 85. And you have a feeling Charlotte may not be too happy about this. Brooke is improving in performance skills. And after the match with Charlotte come out, she attacks Dana Brooke, just beating her up and putting her in the figure 8. And basically saying she no longer wants or needs her services. And this got a 38D shocking rating there. Charlotte just coming out and killing the show. Not good at all. Sooner we get the belt off her, the better. Moving on to the next segment, and it's backstage. We've got Mick Foley's confronting Del Rio. Mick Foley tells Del Rio that the two of them have never really seen eye to eye, but tonight they both want the same thing. They both want to bring the WWE World Heavyweight Championship home to Raw by any means necessary. Foley says Dean Ambrose and SmackDown won't be having a nice day after tonight. That's got a 71B minus. Decent segment again. So this show's been looking very good actually, apart from that Dana Brooke and Charlotte attack. Foley was penalised for lower morale. Del Rio was penalised for poor momentum. But a 71B rating, still good, can't complain. Moving on, we've got the club backstage. AJ tells the club that he has to do this alone tonight. Gallows and Anderson seem concerned, but AJ says tonight isn't about the club, it's about him. John Cena's time is up. My time is now. So AJ Styles telling the club that he has to do it alone tonight. And will he get the job done alone? We'll have to find out, but everyone did very well there. Will the club be drafted along to SmackDown with AJ? The draft's coming after SmackDown tonight, so stay tuned for that. But obviously, this is great stuff, guys. You wouldn't be going anywhere, would you? So let's see what the next match is. And it's John Cena taking on AJ Styles in a bout that had superb wrestling and good heat. AJ Styles defeated John Cena in 1650 by pinfall with a Styles clash. This got a 78B rating. The announcing job done by Brian Saxton and Jerry Lawler was pretty weak. Deserved better colour commentary. This match got the crowd buzzing. AJ Styles in-ring performance of 77, but John Cena put an in-ring performance of 90. Big match, John living up to the name. However, though, he didn't get the win tonight. Big match, John, unsuccessful. He was defeated fair and square by AJ Styles in a one-on-one match. So where can Big John go from here? Does he have it anymore? Does he have what it takes? Perhaps not. He's improving in performance skills, so which is very good. Nearing the age of 40, and Big John's still improving. So very happy with that rating. And now let's move on. With an angle featuring Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, and this is very good. This got a 79B. Holy shit, Roman Reigns enters the champion's locker room. He tells him that he looks forward to facing this brawler down the line for that belt around his waist. But for that to happen, he needs Dean Ambrose to retain tonight. Ambrose says he's retained on Raw and he will retain tonight on SmackDown. And he tells Roman he doesn't need to worry about it because he ain't letting go of the title, not tonight, not ever. Roman just tells Dean Ambrose to be careful. He knows Stephanie and she doesn't play fairly. So Roman Reigns giving his former brawler, former partner in the Shield, Dean Ambrose, a little heads up. And this got a 79B. Another really good rating here. Dirt sheet. Segment rating was limited for being short. It was good, 79B. I mean, if we could have got into the 80s, it would have been great. But I'm happy with that. Not going to complain. Let's move on. Got Bray Wyatt taking on Zack Ryder in an extremely short match. Bray Wyatt defeated Zack Ryder in 5:06 by a pinfall of his sister Abigail. Not much happening here, just getting Bray Wyatt on the show and Zack Ryder just jobbing out really in a quick domination match. Zack Ryder seemed off his game tonight. Bray Wyatt is improving in flying skills. And that's about it. Short and sweet. Burial match really. Quick win for Bray Wyatt. Moving on. We have the highlight reel tonight, and it's a very pissed off Chris Jericho welcoming us to the highlight reel featuring two of the biggest ass clowns in the WWE. His guests tonight are GMs Mick Foley and Daniel Bryan. Foley and Bryan make their way to the ring wondering what they have done. Why is Jericho so pissed? Jericho tells them both to sit down and shut their goddamn mouths. How can they be expected to run Raw and SmackDown when they are too stupid to even draft the biggest star in this company, Chris Jericho? Jericho tells him it doesn't matter what brand he ends up on tonight because that show will never ever be the same again. So Jericho, not happy with Foley and Daniel Bryan. He wasn't picked in the original 25-man draft brand split. He's not happy. 74B minus, though. I'm pretty happy with that segment. The angle got the crowd hotter. The segment to say a better colour commentary. I'm happy with that. It's decent. But some here, some negatives. But it is what it is. 74B minus, not too bad. We've got Del Rio, he's ready for tonight's main event. He'll be taking on Dean Ambrose for the title here tonight. He is shown walking backstage. And then tonight's main event, it's Dean Ambrose taking on Del Rio in a good match. Dean Ambrose defeated Alberto Del Rio in 12:30 by pinfall for Dirty Deeds. During the match, we saw Seth Rollins come out and distract Ambrose. While this was happening, the referee trying to get Seth to go away. Dean Ambrose was taking his attention off Del Rio. Seth Rollins trying to cost Ambrose the match. But while Dean Ambrose and the referee were distracted, when Roman Reigns come out the crowd and give Del Rio a spear, the Dirty Deeds managed then to capitalise, take the Dirty Deeds. He makes defence number 2 of his WWE World Heavyweight title. So Seth Rollins tried to come out to cost Dean Ambrose the match, but Roman Reigns managing to use the distraction provided by Seth Rollins. So inadvertently, it looks as if the Shield are actually former members Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns inadvertently combining to give Dean Ambrose the win here over Del Rio, and this got a 76B minus. The match to say a better colour commentary. Can't even speak. Can't he fucking speak. Ambrose had an in-ring performance of 76. Del Rio 69. Dean Ambrose improving technical skills. And then to end SmackDown, just like we end at Raw, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion Dean Ambrose celebrates in the ring, and this got a 76B minus. So, lots of good shit here. And I'm not sure what's the final rating going to be. Well, Raw did get a 66C+. I do believe that we could do better here, so I'm going to click on and let's see what we got. I'm expecting this to be in the 70s, and I'll be disappointed if we didn't get to do it. I'm going to say a 73B minus. Let's see what we get. Or 73, a C+. I'm not quite sure, guys, but let's see what we get. Jesus, a 63C? How's that possible? Fucking hell. The general feeling is that WWE don't have enough interesting storylines going on. The fans were disappointed that few storylines were had fans during the show. The show lost its popularity in 23 regions. Well, like I said, we've just started. How can you have storylines when the show's just actually started? I mean, oh man, I don't get that. I really don't get that. Disappointed. I was expecting 10 above that, so to get a 63C is absolutely shocking. Some other news here: SmackDown was from the Hodges Stadium in front of 8,715 people, but I'm disappointed with that rating, guys. Look at the actual. Yeah, I mean, we've got so many 70s. We had an 80, and I know we had that really poor attack there, Charlotte on Dana Brooke, that got the 38, but I mean, still, I think 63C is very low, a lot lower than I was expecting, a lot lower than I'm comfortable with, but what can we do about it? It's the rating we've been given, and now we just have to deal with it. But up next, we do have the brand split. We've already got the brand split. We do have the remaining draft of people that weren't selected. So I'm going to go and do that. I'll be with you shortly, guys, so just stay tuned, and we'll be ready in a second with the brand split draft thingy aftermath. Just before we get into the draft, I thought I'd show you this wee, showing you top 100 matches here. Interestingly enough, 3 of the matches on SmackDown were better than any of the matches we had on Raw. Yes, we had John Cena getting a 78B, Ambrose Del Rio for the title getting a 76B minus, and also Rusev and The Miz defeating Titus O'Neil and Big Show with another 74B minus. So, yeah, the SmackDown matches definitely did do better than Raw, top 100 events. And you see Raw obviously was better than SmackDown, 3 more, but SmackDown's main event was better than Raw's Superstars. Early days yet, though, can't make much of this. Obviously all wrestlers were competing on both shows, so won't really be able to take a true reflection until the next Raw and SmackDown and main event Superstars respectively. Anyway, let's go and get stuck in now to this draft. Alright guys, so here we go with the SmackDown draft after SmackDown, whatever you want to call it, the rest of the draft. All the jobbers that didn't get drafted are about to get drafted. So, we've already drafted the people that were picked on Raw. We don't want to end the brand split, we don't need to adjust it, complete the drafts doing everyone, we don't need to trade, so I believe partial draft. This will do a brand draft for everyone in the company who's not currently assigned to a brand. I believe that's what we want. The following workers are available to draft. And I believe we're just going to do it one at a time here, guys. It may take longer, but fuck it. Let's give each guy their, their spotlight. So let's go. Aiden English. Well, that's not actually what I expected to happen. It's just came up with The Undertaker. So, fuck, I was expecting him in order. I was expecting Aiden English. Undertaker drafted to SmackDown. Okay, well. Triple H has been drafted to SmackDown. What the fuck? Daniel Bryan has... Well, he was already supposed to be on SmackDown, so... I mean... Chris Jericho has been drafted to SmackDown, so... Chris Jericho was pissed off on the highlight reel. And it looks like he'll be on SmackDown. Actually, Triple H and Undertaker weren't supposed to be in this. I'll be undrafting them, but... SmackDown, Daniel Bryan is the GM of SmackDown. Obviously, that has showed. Chris Jericho has been drafted to SmackDown. That's a fair pick. Randy Orton has been drafted to SmackDown, even though I selected him for Raw. What the actual fuck's happening here? Ric Flair has been drafted to Raw. Sting has been drafted to Raw. Jerry Lawler has been drafted to SmackDown. Mick Foley has been drafted to Raw. Ryback has been drafted to SmackDown. Dean Malengo's been drafted to Raw. Nikki Bella has been drafted to Raw. Paul Heyman has been drafted to SmackDown. That'll be getting changed. He's actually a part of the Raw. I just didn't add him in with Brock Lesnar, so that'll be getting changed. Up next, we've got JBL drafted to Raw, which I think we already knew that. Mark Henry, SmackDown. John Laurinaitis, SmackDown. Booker T, Raw. Road Dogg, Raw. Arn Anderson, SmackDown. Stephanie McMahon, Raw. We knew that. Shane McMahon, SmackDown. We knew that. Joey Mercury, Raw. Pat Patterson, Raw. Paige has been drafted to SmackDown. Unlucky there, Paige getting drafted to the brand without the Women's Championship. Not what she wanted to hear, not really what I wanted to hear, but I did say I was going to do these things fairly. It is what it is. She'll now be on SmackDown. Fit Finlay, SmackDown. Jamie Noble, SmackDown. Michael Hayes, SmackDown. Maurice, Raw. We kind of already knew that since Mrs. on Raw. Goldust, SmackDown. Charles Robinson, SmackDown. Brie Bella, SmackDown. So the Bellas have been split up. Carl Anderson, Raw. The club has been... Oh no, the club's been split here. Neville, SmackDown. Luke Gallows, SmackDown. Luke Gallows will actually be going to Raw, because I did say I wasn't going to split up the tag teams, and since Carl Anderson got drafted to Raw first, it's only fair that I end up putting Gallows to Raw, so we'll change that. Sin Cara, SmackDown. Primo, SmackDown. Scott Armstrong's Raw. Curtis Axel, Raw. Darren Young, SmackDown. Tyler Breeze, Raw. Mike Rotunda, Raw. Heath Slater, Raw. R-Truth, SmackDown. Pico, it's nothing epic about him, to Raw. Titus O'Neil to Raw. Bo Dallas to SmackDown. Lana to Raw. That'll be SmackDown because she's going on Rusev's show, which I thought I'd already picked her to be on SmackDown, but obviously not. Fandango to Raw. Tyson Kidd to Raw. Summer Rae to SmackDown. Zack Ryder to SmackDown. Net Victor to SmackDown. Billy Kidman to Raw. Connor to SmackDown. Jack Swagger to Raw. Naomi to SmackDown. Lita to SmackDown. Aiden English to SmackDown. Michael Cole has been drafted. Yeah, it won't happen. He's on Raw. I've already done the announcers. Alicia Fox to Raw. Michael Ronaldo to Raw. Or we could maybe change things up. I don't know. Should we leave? I wasn't planning on changing the commentary up, so maybe we'll just put it back to the way it was. Because I did actually mean to pick all those commentators that I didn't mean to. The commentators weren't supposed to be in draft. I thought I'd already picked them, so we'll change that actually. Ronaldo is the head SmackDown guy. Raw is the head Raw guy. So Ostonga to Raw. John Cohen to Raw. Baron Corbin to Raw. Jimmy Jacobs to Raw. Simon Gotch to Raw. Kalisto to SmackDown, Tamina Snuka to Raw, Brian Saxton to Raw, Emma to SmackDown, Mickey Chioda to SmackDown, Dana Brooke to SmackDown, Joey Styles to SmackDown, Rosa Mendes to Raw, Apollo Crews to Raw, McMahon to Raw, well he won't be in the draft, he's any, Jason Ayers to SmackDown, Rod Zapata to Raw, Natalia to SmackDown. Fucking hell, a lot of these women have been drafted to SmackDown, and I did say there's no championships. Oh fuck, that's not good, is it? Chad Patton to Raw, Ryan Tran to Raw, Derek Moore to SmackDown, David Kapoor to SmackDown, Scott Stanford to SmackDown, Renee Young to SmackDown, Dan Eagle to SmackDown, Ryan Ward, Renee Picture to SmackDown, JoJo to Raw, Kathy Kelly to SmackDown, and that is it. So, like I said, there's half the people. That's the full draft, but obviously they need to change something. Randy Orton actually got picked for Raw in the draft, so why he was going to Raw, I don't fucking know. So, I need to go through some of these people, obviously, and change it. So, let's do that right now. But what I will do is, guys, I'll do that off camera, and then I'll come back and I'll show you the setup heading forward with the announcers and shit like that. So I'm just going to go off here, change a couple of them, because some of them were supposed to be already selected to brand, which I obviously forgot to do. So I'm going to go and do that, then we'll be back in a wee second. And guys, just before we end the episode, you're going to have a quick look at the ratings. Sadly, they don't do individual ratings anymore. It's all combined, which is pretty shit. Hopefully they patch this, but until then, we're just going to have to work with what we've got. Now, I think Raw and SmackDown and Main Event and Superstars, respectively, those two shows I think are kind of all shown on the same TV shows, so there's not as if, like, for example, Raw is on 10 shows and SmackDown's only on 5. I think they're both shows on the same amount of shows. I think they both get equal sort of coverage, content. So, these should be pretty fair TV ratings, a fair way to judge them anyway. Raw got a 23.47. SmackDown got a 0.63. I mean, so SmackDown Superstars got 0.63. SmackDown got a 24.87, which was more than nearly 1.5 better than what Raw got. And then Main Event got a 0.67, which is 0.4 more than what Superstars got. Now, yeah, the SmackDown A and SmackDown B show did do better, but at the same time, the brand split now comes into effect, so it's really kind of impossible to say that SmackDown's doing better, because all the shows were featuring people from both rosters, so fuck it. Now the announcers, this is how I've decided to go. Might not please a lot of people here, but I want to go with the tried and trusted, and then maybe in the future we'll mix things up. Now I'm using who people got drafted to, so I did the best of what I could. Raw, we're going with Michael Cole, John Bradshaw Layfield, and Booker T. I think this could be a good pairing, and the experience of this lineup's pretty low. I'm pretty sure this was the lineup for a while, and I think it worked okay. I mean, I think this is decent, I'm not going to lie. Moving on to SmackDown. Yes, guys, Joey Styles got drafted to SmackDown. I don't see the point of not using him. He's in the game, he got drafted to SmackDown, so we're going to use him. He's going to be the third wheel in the SmackDown commentary team, along with Mauro Ranallo and Jerry the King Lawler. And I personally think this team is probably going to be better than the Raw team. It is what it is, so I don't know if it's going to be good yet, but we'll just have to wait and see. Then, obviously, the Main Event team, SmackDown's B show, I'm using Renee Young and Scott Stanford. Like I said, I don't really care about these B shows, so I'm just going to use them to, try and get people out there, see who's good, see who's not. And then on the SmackDown, on Superstars, the Raw B show, we're going to be using Brian Saxton and David Otunga. So, there you go. That is the announcers. And just one more thing. When I done that the draft after SmackDown, I think it try and balances it out now, because Raw picked 3 women and SmackDown didn't pick any women. I think in the automatic brand, what it did was it sent the majority of the women to Raw, which I didn't want. I wanted an equal amount going to like both shows. So what I've done is I've actually changed a couple. Yes, I'm not going to cheat, I'm not going to lie. Well, you maybe perhaps see this as cheating, but I did put a few of the women onto the Raw brand. I believe it was just Paige and Natalia, so they're going to be on Raw. And yeah, that's that. I'm not going to make excuses. I did what I did. I felt it was needed. SmackDown certainly didn't need that many women without the show. So there you go. We've got nearly 1.5 million more than we started with. We've got Superstars in 3 days. So, like I say, what I'm going to do is from now on, we're just going to book Superstars, run it, and then when I start recording, Superstars will already be done. We'll just spend like a minute recapping it. So that is it for now, guys. We'll have a quick look at the storylines just before I go. I said we need to get storylines. We will try and get them running. We've got just John Cena still have it. Dudley Boy's Destruction. I wonder what that could be. Stay tuned to find out. The new face of SmackDown is currently going 80B for the Heat, and the boss has Flair as a 56C-. But obviously we'll be bringing in new storylines as the weeks progresses. So thanks for watching, guys. This has been episode 3 of Brand Wars, and until next time, peace.